Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fantasycraft: The Last City, presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a rotating cast. I am your host and GM for this evening, Austin Ramsey. You can find me and the podcast at Not an Inn on Twitter. That's NOTANINN. And you can also find my game design work at austin-ramsey.itch.io. I also have an upcoming Kickstarter for my game Beam Saber, and you can find that at tinyurl.com/beamsaberkickstarter. This evening, I am of course joined by Christine.
Hey there, I'm Christine. My pronouns are she or they, and I'm playing Dorothy, the unborn mage.
Thank you. Also with us is of course Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha. My pronouns are NNs, and I'm playing Madame V, the distinguished opera singer, and also some occasional part-time pirate.
And last but never least, Hadrian.
That's me. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Viper the Death Knight?
Alright, so who wants to recap what happened last week?
We all had big, fun conversations with that worm boy.
Mm-hmm. Worm Boy, aka the minor god of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on friendly terms.
Yeah, he even got its true name. That sounds like basically a first name basis, right?
It doesn't count if they don't give you their name.
I suppose that would be a little weird if you if you only gave someone your last name and then they started calling you by your first name. It's like, Okay. So, the three of you and the crew that have come with you, minus Greg, are leaving the temple of the god of death at the base of Mount Atlas, as still as when you arrived. Oh, also the Northerner is with you, of course. Bodies litter the ground, both sparked and followers of the god of death. And once everyone is back outside into the light of day, I think everyone feels that they can breathe a bit easier, in spite of the corpses. The crew are just going over their gear, making sure that they have everything that they're going to need for the overland journey back. What are the three of you up to?
I imagine there's a lot of admiring of V going on right now. If not admiring, definitely mild interrogation.
Well, I'm an open book, darling. Ask away.
I see you have lots of questions.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that is necessarily worth reiterating everything that happened last time, because I already know that. I'm just saying that's what Viper's being curious about V's
Makeover?
Yeah, makeover. Yes.
V is talking extensively about her, like, she knows that the technique itself is Snoozeville, as far as like explaining what she did and how she learned it and like what is actually happening when she does it. but she is explaining the sort of tumultuous relationship that she had with the virtuoso who taught her it. And of course, portraying herself very favorably in it, but in the sense that it's like, oh, you were probably at fault there, actually.
All right.
God, that'd be a hell of a really in there for decades with only one other person. That's
Decades.
wild.
Learned a lot. Learned a whole hell of a lot.
Is V more or less enthusiastic about talking to other people now?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think she keeps slipping into a second hand that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like if you get like really, really close to one particular person and you start to develop a shorthand between each other, and then you try to introduce that into a different conversation, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's that, but for the past like 60 years.
Yeah.
Where that's been the only language that she's spoken.
Yeah. I don't know what any of your slang means now.
Her vocabulary has become in-jokes.
Oh god.
Yeah.
God, yeah, and that was 60 years without a need to eat, sleep. Like, it was just the conversation. Yeah, hard to imagine.
That's dedication.
The hyperbolic
Viper's
time
like-
chamber for opera.
Viper's like, people are impressed when I meditate for like 6 hours. I got nothing on you.
Well, I don't know that I'll do it again. Certainly not with him.
I had a gold piece for every time I said that.
Lance holds up his hand for a high five. Or I guess a low five, considering.
It'd be a low 5 for Viper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So how were the last 60 years for you?
It was literally like nothing.
Yeah, but what happened? What did you do?
I
in the last-
dragged Amber out of the room and then you walked out.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Amber needed to be out of that room, so you did a good job.
Is it dawning on me that not everyone spent 60 years?
Yeah.
Maybell says, wait, Captain, you thought 60 years had passed when our deadline for preventing the storm destroying Enclave is a year?
No,
If that?
No. It is one thing to know intellectually that no time has passed, but it doesn't feel like that. That's gonna take a second to get used to. I don't. Well, imagine it for me. Imagine being a kid and seeing your friends on the playground, and then going into all of your schooling, and coming out of that back to the kids on the playground. And it's obvious you knew that going in, but tell that to your gut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, V, I'm going to choose to interpret that metaphor charitably. You just called us all foolish children who've learned nothing.
Well, the captain knows best, as they say.
It's true.
I beg your pardon.
Oh God, did we ever have any idea of how old V was before she went in?
I mean, the lady doesn't say.
Yeah.
On my character sheet where it says age, it is a winky face emoji.
That's cool. Viper's is just question marks. So
Yeah, so is Dorothy's.
Glad we're not playing a game that is time intensive or time
Yeah.
specific.
3 people who just couldn't be bothered about losing a few decades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was like, I don't know. I feel like fairly into her career by the time the game started.
She wasn't green, as it were.
Right. Yeah. Had been through a few seasons. If you know what I mean.
Hey, Viper and V, and I guess Dorothy too. Give me a notice roll. Guess I'll take a sort of a play screen.
How about a 35?
Holy shit.
And that is a natural 20. But I don't think it's worth activating. So
Yeah.
Let it ride.
Yeah, I was gonna say save your action die. So Viper notices this first. Dorothy, you notices it like, I think once Viper probably presumably turns and looks at you. V, this you just don't notice this at all.
Hey.
B's busy.
Yeah. Viper, Dorothy's breathing.
Hmm.
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 Huh.
Hmm.
Uh,
What would she do? What would she do? Because as far as I know, Dorothy's still not talking to me.
no. You guys are being frozen out right now.
Maybe at some point, Viper's sitting down and sort of thinking about stuff, and Dorothy's probably faced away, and she notices Dorothy's like chest rising and falling or whatever, and Viper just sort of blows on the back of Dorothy's head.
Okay, well.
just to ruffle her hair. Get her attention.
Good
Nice.
icebreaker.
Yeah, no, she's just choosing to ignore the not so subtle sign that you want to talk to her.
All right.
I don't know what to do with this information
I
other
don't
than
think
file it away.
same.
So wait. What happened between you two?
Is this V asking?
Yeah. Who was in fact present for that whole altercation, but was not paying attention.
Well, no, you weren't.
No,
really.
you were. That was when you were time frozen for like
Oh, that's true. I wasn't
a
present for
couple
that bit,
minutes. Yeah.
But y'all talk about it later. Anyway, tell me about it. Tell me about it. What happened?
V wants that hot goss.
I didn't make the tea this morning, so you gotta help me out.
It's difficult to explain.
It just be crazy.
Womp womp, I guess, yeah.
Oh, hold on. I have.
Do you perhaps have a really uncharitable metaphor you could use?
Viper says, definitely loud enough for Dorothy to hear. I decided to stop letting people I care about convince me that my life is more valuable than theirs. She's square with the
Okay.
worm now.
Oh. Well, that's good. What did you have to do to make that happen?
I mean, honestly, not a whole lot more than I'd already done for myself.
Which is
I can see people's souls now. I guess that's something.
that sounds like a perk, not a prize.
It's a little nebulous. I think the details are going to be worked out after I'm done on this plane.
Okay. You know, I was thinking about that too. It seems like if you are to do deals with the devil, as it were, it ought to be the one that you're going to see anyway, inevitably, regardless. So it's like a one-stop shop kind of deal. So that sounds like a win for everyone, more or less. Assuming that you die, which you might not.
Who can say? Maybe that was the deal.
Was that the deal?
I don't know. I haven't died a second time ever again, so when I do, I guess we'll find out whether it sticks.
I suppose so. So wait, you didn't get, like, specific parameters as to what the price was?
Eh.
It's just my soul. Who cares?
Viper.
Yeah, I know. I've been through this with Dorothy.
Well, I'm not going to chastise
Think
the price.
before you do things. Whatever.
No, do whatever you want. Just get it in writing, darling. Read the contract before you sign it, darling. Goodness. Well, it's your afterlife. So
Not anymore.
You're a big girl. You can make your own decisions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dorothy keeps huffing angrily because she doesn't know how to control that yet.
That's not something you had to think about for a long time.
So to be clear with that, Dorothy, or Christine, Dorothy, still can't drown or be strangled.
Oh hell yeah!
She just now also breathes.
All the ability to play a wind instrument and none of the drawbacks.
Fuck yeah. Goals. That's
These
what's worried me about playing wind instruments, yeah.
Win-wins all around the table today.
All right.
Paid 60 years of your life to sing better. I paid probably becoming mortal again to get a friend out of trouble. And
And I'm gonna play the trumpet.
yeah.
Wait, don't you need lips to play the trumpet?
And I'm gonna play the clarinet.
You could find a leather worker to make some lips, Cindy.
Thank God. I don't want to. And that's the end of that. I don't want to.
think Madame V will stand up and then go sit over next to Dorothy and be like, well, I've heard one side of the story. How are you doing?
Great.
Yeah? That's exactly what you sound like when you sound great, so I believe you 100%.
Ladder attraction is finished.
No. Hi. Hi, how are you? What happened with the Death God?
How should I know?
Well, you know more than I do.
Probably
Not
not.
much, really. Didn't really loop her in on that one.
No, I don't have to know about things concerning my soul.
She didn't tell you what she
Okay.
was doing. I mean, you, how else would that have been part of the negotiation if you weren't looped into the thing? Okay, well, I can recognize a pout when I see it, so I'll leave you to it.
Thank you.
You let me know if you want to talk about it.
Okay.
It really is like coming back to kids.
And I'm just gonna check out the crew, see how everybody's doing, check and see how the last 60 years were for them. We must have so much to talk about. Oh boy, same old Mabel, huh? Just like old times. Cool.
Haven't aged a day.
Haven't aged a day.
How long does it take for Madame V to, like, with the constant tellings, realize that, no, really, time has not passed for us?
She's whenever that comes up, she's like, I know, and but like she keeps making the assumption in conversation.
I know, but what has 60 years like been for you?
Like
Some real temporal whiplash.
Showing up to your 10-year high school reunion and everyone's still freshmen.
everyone's still talking about Zunes, and that's weird. But I guess I'll just hit you up on AIM when I get home. Yeah, that'll be fine. What's on? God, I don't remember what was on. It's that level thing. Like, God, I don't remember what song we sang. Is that root still there? That root should. I mean, it should be. There's hat. I tell you what. I am a little disoriented. But just give me a little time. I'll be right as rain. But someone else should probably leave for a little bit.
Does she still remember sea shanties?
I remember some of them. I remember the catchy ones, the ones that I liked.
Hey, let's be real, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I've certainly used them as warm-ups and practice and stuff, so those I've kept. How a ship works is maybe a bit that I've neglected over the past 60 years, so we'll see how that goes when we get back to port.
Luckily,
Yeah.
we have people for that.
Luckily, we do have a lot of people for that, so...
Yeah, I guess Madame V wasn't the most central figure in that process at the best of times.
Literal figurehead.
You know? Yeah.
All right. So with V saying, I'm going to take a minute to get back into the swing of things, Mabel just nods and she says, All right, I think everyone has our things packed away. We should probably get going. Northerner, if you could lead the way. And
Quick aside to Maybell, who I think is high ranking. Is Maybell high ranking?
she is recorded as one of the senior officers. Yeah.
Cheers. Okay. We did talk about treasure. Did we get any treasure when we were here?
Maybell says, none of us were especially looking to loot the temple, both on our way in and our way out. I suppose we could take some time to explore and see what's here.
Well, let's see. We're only 2 days into it, right?
That's true.
Okay. 1 second, and I'll step aside to Dorothy, who I think was the one who proposed getting paid about it at the dinner. And I say, hi, sorry to interrupt your grump again. I have a question, though, about how much did you say folks would get paid for the excursion?
More alluded to the idea that there be treasure, not that there was any strict physical pay. I would advise against stealing from an act of God. But, you know,
That is
live your
true.
own life.
We are guaranteed to see him later. In fact, we have an appointment to do so. So you are, as always, a bastion of wisdom. I appreciate your advice so much. Thank you. And Adam goes back to Mabel and says, "You know what? I think what we'll do instead is just sort of keep a head on a swivel as to any abandoned spots along the way that we perhaps could forage, let's say."
Maybell says, you want to loot farmsteads?
There could be something, you don't know.
I suppose
Sassy with me, Mabel.
I suppose that is what raiders do.
There's nobody in those farmsteads.
That is true. All right.
We just sell Greg's diamond and use that as a crew bonus.
Maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
What?
Yeah.
We have that as a backup. Let's see if we can maybe cruise something on top of that. You know, time and a half if you can.
Sure. With that being the case, which one of you three has the best search? Because that's what we'll just sort of like generalize on the way back, seeing what turns up.
Not Viper.
Oh, right. I think it's Dorothy with a 6.
Yes, it would be you.
Oh, I rolled a 2, so it only got an 8. Well, Dorothy's not really.
Art's
No.
not in it. Right now.
No.
All right. I'm gonna set like a minimum on that, and say that you do find a farmhouse on your way back. I'm just going to see what it is that turns up in there. Where is it? Treasure, there we go. Okay, so, It is in the NPC's lair, so to speak. It's plus 5, so 1L. Loot. All right. Dorothy? Since you found the place, give me a 1d20 plus 5.
And
10. Okay. A set of raw materials. What might that be? Give me another 1d20.
12.
12. All right. You find. Give me another 1d20. Sorry.
How deeply nested is this table?
12.
It's got layers. Okay, you find 24 silver worth of clay. Because this
God.
this was in fact a
Dirt farm.
potter's farm. Or like cottage.
We got dirt.
Yeah.
You got fancy
It's like-
dirt.
It's like good dirt.
Real good dirt, though. Top tier dirt. How many silver worth?
24.
24?
24 silver worth of dirt right here.
Yup.
Hot diggity dog.
Yep. So that's what you get from looting a random cottage that you found on your way home.
I feel like there's someone in the crew who can make use of this.
I think you do actually have a potter in the crew, or a sculptor, something like that, if I'm
Yeah.
recalling correctly.
Or just a pothead. don't encourage me, please, for the love of God.
Okay. So the Northerner is able to guide you back to Fort Starfall while avoiding the Sparked that are out here. The Northerner notes that maybe there's less Sparked out here than they thought there were, considering the amount of bodies that were at the temple. Because there were like dozens, if not at least 100, at the temple. So you're able to avoid any encounters with the feral Sparked, and you can see Fort Starfall and the town around it rising up above in the distance. And you approach the town as night arrives. What do y'all do?
If night arrives, I'm going to... Buddy, come on. Cast a flare up to let them know that we are indeed still alive. My casting bonus is crazy, so I don't need to actually cast it. I am not cursed.
Okay. Dorothy, give me a notice roll.
Whatever.
No, I don't want to see it. No, thank you. I'm closing my eyes. I do not see it.
13.
13. This one is harder to ignore than the last. After, 2 days of walking, you're hungry and thirsty.
God damn it. I gave this up centuries ago.
Note, you won't die of thirst or hunger.
You'll just suffer eternally.
I don't even have a stomach. How am I supposed to eat?
I'm gonna feed Foxglove and see if that helps me.
Yeah, it does seem to.
Okay, I'm gonna just keep feeding Foxglove.
You're just gonna get fat.
Go on now. You listen. My child is extraordinary thick.
So yeah. Also, that flare had a bit more kick than you were expecting it to.
It's like a firework.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, Dorothy, now that you've put some distance between you and the God of Death and have your debt settled, you are once again able to tap into the part of your soul and magic that was, let's say, on layaway. And so you gain... You already have casting basics, right? Yeah, so you get casting mastery and supremacy.
Hot diggity.
Okay. This is not going to be great for the people around me.
So what do those do?
Casting supremacy gives me, well, altogether it's a +4 bonus to my spell casting. I can re-roll a spell casting roll once per round, or not round, once per scene, and my critical range is now 17 to 20, and I can activate criticals with 1 viewer action dice on spell casting rolls.
That's to a minimum of 0, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Damn.
And I think it, because Dorothy's a familiar, it also,
Yeah.
or not Dorothy, Foxglove is a familiar.
Who the familiar is in the situation is questionable.
Christine's been playing Foxglove the whole time.
Look, all I'm saying is only one of them's eating a pizza slice right now, so.
Yeah, so Foxglove is worth more XP now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so rat getting swole.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you're back at town. You've signaled to the ship. The Northerner turns to you and says, Captain V, Madam V, I would like to request that you all remain here for a few minutes. I need to go speak to someone.
Okay, sure.
And they head into town.
That's interesting.
That's probably fine.
And a few minutes later, the doctor arrives.
The good medical professional, wonderful.
Yes, sort of.
Begums.
Yeah. Making his way through town. You can, of course, see him above the tops of the buildings as he approaches. And he comes and he sits down in the middle of the road, like blocking the straight shot to the docks. And there's some of the other Sparked, the townsfolk, sort of following in his wake around him, like I don't know, like puppies around a wolf. And he says, "Welcome back, Captain V, Madam V."
Thank you, medical professional. It is good to be back. I'm happy to report that the mission or the journey was relatively uneventful, except for one unfortunate mishap. We are all We are all doing well except for our good friend Greg, who rests in rests in peace.
Lance definitely sniggers at that.
Not appropriate, Lance.
And the doctor says, "You three appear to have changed. Is everything all right?"
Yes. Well, it is hard to have an encounter with death and not be changed in some way, but I know what you mean. Yeah, we are well in our various ways. Yes. I would be happy to tell you about it further once my crew is situated back in the ship.
The Northerner has brought me a concern of theirs, which is that while the three of you were speaking with the death god, it was mentioned that there is no knowledge of what will happen to us should the storm be destroyed. This was not a concern of ours, but it seems to be one of yours. It is not something we had considered before. Is your quest a threat to us?
What's a roll to lie?
That'd be bluff.
No? Can we roll that?
Strong! Coming out of that gate super strong.
Oh, well, I rolled a natural 1, but I got a 13, so there's still a chance.
Dorothy's extremely good at lying.
Yeah, she actually is. That's a pretty high bonus for bluff.
I think Dorothy gets a withering look from Madame V.
Well, it's first sense motive, so if it's under 13, I can still pass.
Huh. Yeah, I'm looking at I'm gonna use apothecary stats for the doctor, at least for skills. So they actually don't have sense motive.
Perfect crime.
They do have competency though, of 3, which, not the highest, but all right. Competency 3. Y'all are level 7. It's a +4 modifier.
Here we go.
Wow.
That's a 10.
That is a 10.
It's because of my stone face.
It's a good thing Dorothy still can't sweat. So yeah, the doctor nods with its fingers and says, "That is good to hear. We would be concerned for our well-being if your quest was a threat to us."
Wait.
Viper's like stretching out one of her shoulders and looking at Dorothy like, what the fuck? You were the one that was concerned about. Whatever.
We like having visitors. Your crew have been pleasant with us the last few days, and it would be a shame to lose the friends we have made.
I agree, and I'm delighted to hear that you have been getting along so well with minding their manners.
Yes, we have learned of drinking games.
Oh,
Uh,
do you, that raises so many questions. Can you drink? Do you get drunk? What is that feeling like?
I do not know what drunk is.
Okay.
Okay, let's be real, V. There was not enough booze on our ship to get him drunk.
on our ship?
Doc big.
To be fair, we also have a lot of big folks on that ship, so it's not like this is a challenge that we like. I figure if we get like maybe half the crew drunk, that is an equivalent of getting this big buddy a little bit tipsy.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
You've been in communication with the ship? The people on the ship?
Yes.
Huh.
Not me directly. I cannot go out onto the dock. And one of the one known as Hanar said that they needed to remain on the ship.
So it was sort of hollering at each other from across the docks, I'm guessing.
I did not do any hollering, but members of the community did.
That is not to say hollering did not occur.
Well, good. I'm so happy to hear it. I am gonna go to my ship now. I'll speak
Yes.
with you later.
It, like, repositions itself so that it's no longer blocking the road and can allow all of you, even Gentleman Moose, to pass by.
Excellent.
So yeah, you make your way through town, and once again, it's a little eerie because of the weird distribution of population in the town, and the fact that all of the citizens you see tend to stare and watch you. Some of them are less interested now than they were before, presumably from interacting with the crew on the ship.
Or old news.
Is there commerce in town? Do they do that? Do they make stuff? Do they trade stuff?
Yeah, I think you do see them, like, exchanging things. It was unclear when it happened, but you see that the Northerner has like gathered some items while they were out in the, like, countryside, and, you know, gives it to people. It's unclear what the system here is, but it is maybe a barter system. It could just be a system based on needs. They've not invented legal tender at this time.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Want to get back to the ship. That's my goal right now. I wanna talk to her.
Yeah. So you get back to the ship, and you see that the gangplank is down onto the dock,
Uh-huh.
and there's a pair of Sparked sitting at the end of the dock, like human-sized Sparked, and like there's a barrel down on the dock, and sitting across from them is let's see, who would it be? Which two members of the crew? Let's see. I think it is Danko and Ahmed. Danko's a Weeping Willow tree person, one of the entertainers, and Ahmed's the Kadam cut purse. And as you approached, one of the sparked says, "Go fish."
Makes sense to me.
You can see Danko like reaching into a pile of cards between the four of them on top of the barrel, and Ahmed sees you approaching V and like waves a hand.
Ahoy!
Ahoy, Captain.
How goes?
It's going pretty well. We're teaching them some fun.
Oh, good for you. Are you winning?
Yeah, right now. Well, I mean, gestures at the like game they're playing and says, "We're starting them off easy."
Good on you. Good on you. Very good.
And Danko says, "Well, that's just because they terribly whooped us when there was alcohol involved. I don't think they get drunk."
It doesn't seem like they do. No, I did wonder about that though. I spoke to the medical professional on the way in, and they mentioned it, but they didn't mention getting drunk. So it does seem as though a game would be easier to win against when you were sober, except for a couple of different games, I suppose. Well, delighted to see you getting along. How's the rest of the ship?
Ahmed says, things are fine. I think after a couple days, everyone's less tense, especially since these looks at the sparked and then says, "Folk are friendly enough."
Excellent. Well, I'll see you about. Don't let me interrupt your game. And I go aboard. Hello. And now the rest of the crew is together again. Hooray!
Yeah. Well, while you're like getting aboard and the party that you took with you is passing by, you can definitely hear Ahmed whisper to someone like, "Hey, so where's that loot?"
Got fantastic news for you.
Before we get out onto the docks, Viper stops and takes off her backpack, puts it on the ground next to Dorothy, opens up and says, "Are we still doing this?" Or
I just walk on by.
okay. Say no more.
Or anything at all.
All right. As Dorothy comes aboard, I guess you probably are talking with Han RV, and she's probably she's just giving you the rundown of like how things went, how the stocks are, what happened, who's got a hangover, just the important, catching up to do. And she says, "And how was your and what the hell is that?"
I'm making my way to the kitchen.
Her head is just like glued to Dorothy, just like watching her go by. And I think the crew that don't know about Dorothy are like stopping in what they're doing and just staring. And
that's Dorothy.
No, that's like a miniature doll version of Dorothy.
Well, you've seen my very charming streaks of gray. Well, let's say we were all a little bit changed by our encounter with the Death God. That's Dorothy.
Give me a bluff roll, V.
Fuck.
You're an actor.
You gave me an actor bonus last time. I did not write it down because I'm a fool.
Skill mastery. Is the
Right.
skill actually master, right? So that
Press. I do get a +2. No. Yes.
Is
Plus-
it's a skill feat. For basic skill, mastery. Yes, actor's bluff. Yeah, and impress. Yeah, so you get a +2 insight bonus and a threat range of 19 to 20.
Which brings me up to
Do you
4.
do you have any ranks in it?
I do not have any ranks.
Okay, so
No.
you still cap out at 15.
Fuck.
Might
That's
wanna.
amazing. That's incredible.
I'm just gonna.
So,
So it's a 10.
It's a 10.
All told. And I'm gonna spend some action dice if that's permissible.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
So it's a 13. How many of these? I can only do one per, right? That's a,
Yeah,
that's
only
it?
one.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Hanar is a Marine and does not actually have sense motive, but does have competency 3
Terror.
and
Wow.
gets a
Oh,
12.
Oh, wow.
That sounds fake, but I don't know enough about trees to dispute it.
Yeah. So she looks at you, looks at the way you've changed, looks back at Dorothy, looks at Viper.
Does Viper look any different?
No. And looks back at V again and says, "Well, I don't know much about magic or gods, so I guess that makes about as much sense as anything." Huh.
Words have never been spoken.
How's she taken being a miniature doll?
let me know when I get to the kitchen.
Better than you would expect, but about what you would expect.
Dorothy, you're at the kitchen.
Okay, great. I grab a pot and a wooden spoon, and I come back out to like the common deck.
Yeah, okay.
And when I get there, I start banging on the pot until I get as much attention as I can.
I love this. About as well as you can expect. Clang, 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 clang. Yeah, you absolutely have everyone's attention with that.
Hi, I would like to make an announcement. I am in fact an actual monster, and if I have ever tricked you into thinking I'm a good person or that you like me in any way, you're incorrect. And if anyone needs me, not that you should, but on the odd weird chance that you need me, I'm going to be into the laboratory trying to make some kind of potion or salve or whatever to make myself drunk. Thank you for your time. Fuck you all. And I drop the pan and the spoon and I go to the laboratory. And I try to make a concoction that will get this body drunk.
Like I said, about as well as you would expect.
Huh. Yeah, that's, doesn't seem to be going well.
Well, oh, speaking of bad news,
Oh, good.
Greg did not make it. There was an accident.
Oh, good.
I noticed his absence when everyone came aboard. I hope he went out valiantly.
Sorry.
He
Do
faced down a giant scorpion like no one else ever has.
no one else ever will again.
Giant scorpion.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one of those in years.
You've seen one of those before?
Yeah. I didn't know they were native to this island.
Where did you see them?
In the west.
Oh. Was this
Shit, can scorpions swim?
Was this on land or in a sea encounter?
In a sea encounter, Captain Scorpions can't swim.
Oh dear.
But it was actually a sea encounter. They were being transported by a merchant.
It's not that strange. Hanar. There's no reason to make me feel foolish when that. Okay.
That's her laughing too. I'm just glad you're all, well, most of you are back in one piece, even if you do appear to be changed.
Me too. Me too. And it was successful. We got what we were looking for.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Do you think I should give Dorothy some time, or?
Well, certainly give her maybe an hour or two to figure out a concoction for getting drunk. And then maybe pop in and see how she's doing, and if she seems in a state to talk, it would be good to talk. I did as best I could earlier, but she was not interested in speaking to me. But maybe the two of you seem to have some kind of rapport. Maybe she will with you.
All right. Thanks for the heads up, Captain.
Hi.
And so I guess I'll go and make sure everything's shipshape.
As you are. And I don't know. I guess captains just leave, huh? We don't really do. Oh, this is definitely in character. Oh, yes. As you were. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. So she
60 years.
60 years. Wow. A little rusty on this captain stuff.
Yeah, so she walks off and starts, like I said, getting everybody sorted. There is. Right. So yeah, Dorothy, you go down into the lab, and there's Ink working in the lab, making bombs, presumably. And she hears you approaching, and so she doesn't turn around. She says, "I heard banging and shouting. What was that about?"
Oh, yeah, I'm a hideous monster and you should stay away from me. That's what that's about, actually. Now, you're gonna use that nitric acid, or can I have that?
She turns and looks at you, and it's just staring, and she says, all yours?
Thanks. And I proceed to drink it.
I don't think that's okay. Are you Dorothy?
Yep.
Cool. So, how'd things go with the Death God?
Great.
Any changes?
Well, I guess you've got to ask Viper about that, because I'm not allowed to know about things. Sorry, I'm just picturing Dorothy eating a base and she becomes a volcano.
So I think we were sort of under the idea that we'd be hauling a giant worm back with us. Is that still happening?
No. Now we're just gonna kill the storm god. You got any salt? I got a couple salt.
Are you sure you need it?
Yeah. We need salt to kill the storm god, obviously. Just a big salt shaker, and then we'll just like grind it up on it. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
It's gonna be hard to build a salt shaker that large. And how are we
Better
gonna
get to work?
How are we gonna get it above the storm?
I don't know. Why don't you draw up some blueprints and give me room in this laboratory for a bit?
Okay. She starts walking away and
Fair.
Viper, what are you up to?
I don't know. She's probably actually literally scared to confront Dorothy right now. In fact, yeah, I think she definitely is. I think what Viper is doing is the back of the ship, stripping down to her swimwear and going for a swim and calling the whales. And just pretending she doesn't have problems right now.
That sounds good.
As the Viper is wont to do.
God, I wish I could just go swim with whales and forget my problems.
All right. Yeah, Dorothy, you can't get drunk still.
What if I roll a chemistry roll?
So,
What if I give alcohol to my very special pet? I do not.
oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
'Cause that,
I'm self. No, you can't do that to her.
yeah, that might be the one thing that might work.
There are no magical liquors in Fantasy Craft. I find that hard to believe.
I mean, here's the thing: is that you're right. It would need to be magical. I'm pretty sure to make potions is like a specific feat that you need to have for crafting. I'm not sure which one, but I'm also pretty sure Dorothy doesn't have it.
No, I just have chemistry.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you would need alchemy basics
That's the one.
to make elixirs.
Yeah.
Charm of stupidity. Essence of stupidity.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you all do? Like, what's the plan? Actually, I think maybe is that like something you want to do in character? Get the senior officers together, or and discuss that.
Well, I am in a fun little spot where I need to talk about. I need to figure out what we want to do with the spark here. If it's possible to like start like if we bring some folks aboard and then kind of like distribute them to the various islands to like try and rustle up some sentience. Whether that's
Rustle up some sentience.
a good idea or not, or if we should even bother since we're gonna go kill the storm god anyway, and that's as likely to kill him as anything else. But the person that I would talk to about that is Dorothy, and Dorothy is currently having a shit fit, so I don't know.
Do you want to gather everyone except Dorothy to talk through things?
Well, I don't want to pitch that. I don't feel safe pitching that.
Oh, I feel so bad that you guys were scared.
Well, not to you. I don't like. I feel like if I say that to the crew or specifically to the crew, I could talk to Viper about it. I suppose. But like, I don't trust them to like not do anything with that information. Whereas I do Dorothy and Viper. I guess yeah. I'll go find Viper first. I think. And then we can bring the officers into it later. Is this like going out to the prow where I usually do my figurehead thing and then sort of like calling down to you like a siren to the sailor but backwards?
You probably don't even have to call. Once you're like standing there for probably a few seconds and it's clearly intentional, you'll see like a tail flap out a few hundred meters away, and then like less than a minute later, Viper rises up from the depths, just like standing on the nose of a whale, and steps up onto the bow of the ship.
What an excellent entrance.
What's up, V?
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the thing I just said, which is whether or not we should bring, or pitch to the folks at Starfall. Is that where we are?
Yeah, you're at Fort Starfall. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. At Starfall, whether or not they could go and maybe treat the level 1 or stage 1 sparks on the other continents, and whether that's even worth the time, considering what we're off to do.
I don't see how it could hurt anything. Assuming they have volunteers.
Assuming they, yeah, of course.
We know they're pretty thick down on Aqualon, but we also know that the worm can't hurt them, so...
That's true, the one doesn't have any kind of access to them.
So if we can get them there, if nowhere else,
True.
they could probably help. A lot, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I'll go speak to the medical professionals if there's anyone who's interested. And then, I mean, our crew has had some time to acclimate to it. I suppose if we encounter anyone else along the way, they can just stay under deck. That should be fine.
I don't know who the hell else we'd encounter, but yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of under the deck, is Dorothy still...
The door is still closed
Okay.
from when I went and checked last. So.
Alright, let me grab my stuff.
Okay.
And I guess we'll be diplomats.
Yeah. Yes. We'll be. Yes. Good. I'll go get my diplomat hat.
So, V, while you are leaving the prow of the ship, Violet approaches you. And she says, my good captain.
I had 100% forgotten she was here.
I have not. Violet, I was just thinking of you.
Yes. I wanted to know, how do you typically keep your papers and such safe from this damp sea air, especially once we're underway?
Well, I found that a well-sealed chest usually does the trick.
Any additional precautions you would recommend?
Not to futz with them any more than is necessary.
All right. That's good. Thank you very much, Captain. And she starts to go back below decks.
What led to this point of inquiry, dear Violet?
She stops with like 1 foot in the stairs to go down below deck, and she says, "Oh, I've got a number of contracts with the Sparked that I want to keep safe."
Oh, Jesus.
Ow. Well, good to see you getting some work in on your voyage. Excellent. All right. Well, best of luck with that.
Yes, I think my family will be quite happy to hear that we've acquired the fort.
I'm not surprised by that whatsoever.
Yes. She smiles broadly and gives a like
Does that change things?
dramatic's not quite the right word, but like performative, that's the word I'm looking for. She gives you a performative salute and then goes below deck.
Viper's like, you're a true titan of industry, Violet.
Does that change things? Well, ostensibly there would be 2 copies of that contract, and Spock would have one of them. If Violet is in any kind of legitimate business, which 60-40 on that one, we'll go and see, shall we?
You're nothing if not generous in your assessment. Yeah, we'll see.
See, yeah, let's start with a good doctor. Let's start with a good medical professional. Yes, I have 2 proposals for them. The first being to see if there is anyone around who would like to help Sparked on other continents, other islands, have a little bit more brains on them. And also, I'm curious as to what Violet Broadwing got up to, if I can see those contracts anymore.
So the doctor says, I will send someone to ask around and see if there are any volunteers. I suspect at least the Northerner will be interested in accompanying you. They are, if nothing else, curious. As for Violet Broadwing, one of our people has a bunch of paper that she gave to us that she said means that she is allowed to live in some of the buildings. I am not clear on your ways with these pieces of paper and what exactly ownership is.
Also,
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, if you could point us in the direction of those papers, I'd be much obliged.
So I think a couple minutes later, like, a runner comes back and has, like, the papers just, like, crumpled up in their fist.
Good.
Just, like, literally a fistful of contracts. And just, like, holds them out to you, V.
Great, yes, I'll smooth them out and be like, maybe try not to tear these if you can.
Oh, are they important?
Unfortunately, at the moment, yes.
Viper's just shaking her head. No. I don't even know if they know what that means, but
All right, so what's the deal on these?
The contracts?
Yeah.
You got any skills you want to roll for that?
Do I?
Do you?
Viper does.
Viper sure does.
How about an investigate?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fuck
Which
yeah.
would be a 27. For Viper to pull out the old reading glasses again.
I love the idea of Viper being an surprise expert on contract law.
Madam, just goes, okay, let's see. Let me see here. Let me shuffling papers. Yes, all this looks. Do you want to maybe look at these?
Yeah.
Viper?
Yeah, okay. So the like long and short of it is that in addition to the fort, Violet has also acquired 20% of all the buildings in Starfall. Notably, just the ones that aren't that aren't occupied currently.
All right.
It seems that she had at least that much graciousness in her scheming.
There's a little scale of goodness somewhere in there. Absolutely.
What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. She did. It's basically just property rights thus far.
Yeah. She did only have 2 days. Who knows what kind of damage she's been up to?
4 days. 4 days.
4 days. 4 days.
Yeah, and 60 years.
Well, 4 days and 60 years ago. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh,
Viper's-
also of note, all the contracts are just signed on the like. Violet has this big sweeping cursive signature, of course, and for the Sparks part, it's just got an X.
Yeah.
Of course. That she probably wrote herself. So
Okay.
Viper just looks up over the paper at you. She's like, any court that was not already owned by a Broadwing would not even hesitate to throw these contracts out. It's like if you walked up to a child and said, I own your house now, and they were like, okay, you give me candy? Except she didn't even give them any fucking candy.
Yeah, there is like no provision for the Spark to get anything out of this. Literally, it's just, I own this now, you agree? Yes? Good? Okay. Good doing business with you.
Business.
It's not even business. This is a joke.
Well. They should keep this is evidence in that case, though, right? Because these atrocious contracts are more than just her word that they spoke and agreed to it. That's what a contract is for. So they should keep this relatively intact. Right?
If it
Or
were
is
up to me,
destroying it
I'd
better?
If it were up to me, I'd burn both copies and then dare her to do anything about it. But I'm not the captain.
You weren't the captain, no.
It's not my ship to lose.
Yeah, it sure isn't. Okay, well, keep him. Do I guess whatever feels real.
Hey,
Or-
Doc Biggums, do you know what power of attorney is?
Well, yes.
I understand what power is. What is an attorney? And why would I
power-
want its power?
That's honestly good question. Would you trust me to?
Yes, we are friends.
Okay, good enough.
Oh, bam!
Handshake.
I thought I was legally fighting as these shitty little contracts. Yeah, let's do it. Playing fast and loose in Fantasy Craft Lawyer Edition.
I am offering you for no fee my power of attorney.
Oh yeah, Viper, attorney at law.
There might still be time to add one more class to my list of classes.
Courtier? Would that be the one?
Nerd class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, alright.
So I'm gonna hold on to these for them.
All right.
Great. Well, I guess don't let, or you do let Violet catch you with them. I'm not your dad. I don't think I have anything further to say except that it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll be setting off once we hear back about whether or not anyone wants to come.
Just
So-
for the record, I'm rolling those contracts up and putting them in the case with my map. Just in case in the future it's relevant that those are in there.
Okay. And there are indeed 4 sparked that volunteer.
The Northerner among them?
Yep. Yes. So yeah, there's 4 of them. There's the Northerner, the Harbor Master, who's the person that you spoke to initially when you first arrived here. The Cooper and the Fountain.
Cool names.
So, and they all use they, them pronouns. The Harbor Master appears to be a feminine human person. How did I describe the Northerner? I forget.
Yeah, as tall as Viper.
Yeah, I think they were a giant.
Or they were like a giantified human or something.
Yeah. We'll say that. And then Cooper's Acadum, orange. So it really goes nicely with those blue sparks. And the Fountain is a green-skinned elf. And
Talk about.
yeah. Let's see. don't... I'm not sure what... I'll figure out what NPC, what their stat block would be other than having the sparked thing attached to them. But yeah, so they come aboard. They don't have, like... They don't bring anything with them. Like, they don't have tools of the trade or anything. Like, the Northerner has their walking stick, right? But, like, that's it. And whatever clothes they're wearing. Yeah, they don't bring any food or drink or spare clothes or, like, a backpack or a sack or anything like that. They just come aboard.
Okay. I will, while I'm giving the grand tour of the boat, say, so the plan is that you will not be coming back to Fort Starfall for some time. So if there is anything that you need from the fort before you leave, you should go and acquire it. And if it is bigger than I am, we will talk about it. But for the most part, we will make room for whatever you have want to bring on the ship, if you want to bring anything. Right, if there is anyone that you have not said goodbye to yet that you need to, you should do that before we leave port, because again, it will be a while before you come back to Starfall.
The Northerner says, we do not need anything else. We have what we need. We will be and have said our partings.
Excellent. Well, good. Then I think everything is in order, and well, you don't sleep, so that's not going to be an issue.
I think the Cooper and the Fountain were the two that were playing cards with Ahmed and who was the other one? Danko on the end of the dock.
Yeah, I think it's like, well, here's the kitchen, which has a specific name on a boat that I don't remember right now, which you won't need because you don't eat. But when we will, the crew comes through here pretty often. Once or twice a day, we have a big old meal together. You're welcome to join us for that if you would like. Here's where everyone sleeps, which you also don't do. But just be aware that when people are down here and they're still, you should leave them be, because they are very tired. They need sleep, and if you wake them, they will be very grumpy and cross with you. So do not do that unless it is an emergency. And so on and so forth.
What is an emergency?
An emergency is something that needs attention immediately, such as a fire, like a very large fire that is out of control.
Let's not be too specific.
Or something that puts people's lives or well-being at risk. That is an emergency.
Ah, I understand.
Excellent. Here's my quarters, which you can come and talk to me anytime. And so on and so forth. Here's the rest of the ship. Ba-da-ba. Do you have any questions?
No.
Fantastic. Okay, well, you know where to find me if you do, and I hope that you enjoy the trip.
They don't respond to that. They're just like looking at you.
Great. I'm going to go do something else now. Goodbye.
They follow.
You can stop following me.
Why?
Well,
I think we can leave that there.
whole trail of electric ducklings behind that
And,
cute.
and with that, it is time for our break. And when we come back, we will deal with a knock at the laboratory door. So we will be back in about 5 minutes. See y'all then.